My own sister called me a burden to my future children because of my weight while I was wiping her baby spit up off my shirt. I'm 27 and my name is Lena. For a week, my life revolved entirely around my older sister, Anya's needs. Anya is 35, a single mother to a 5-year-old, Alex, and a 7-month-old, Mila. Her husband, a man she'd adored, had emptied their joint account and vanished when Mila was just 3 months old, leaving behind nothing but debt and a shattered sense of security. Our relationship has always been a rocky coastline, jagged, unpredictable, and prone to violent storms. We were never the sisters who shared secrets or clothes. We shared a gene pool and a talent for finding each other's rawest nerves. But after I married David a year ago and we moved 4 hours away to a quiet coastal town for his job, the distance seemed to sharpen her resentment into a weapon. We hadn't spoken in 18 months. In that time, I'd built a life, a happy marriage, a small but cozy home, a job I loved at a local bookstore until recent cutbacks left me unemployed. David, my anchor, is 31, an architect with a calm that runs bone deep. Then came the call, not a request, a summons. Our father, who lives 10 minutes from Anya and had been her primary support, was leaving for a 2-week fishing trip with friends. "You need to come help your sister with the kids," he stated, his voice leaving no room for debate. "She's struggling." Family steps up. Guilt, that old family loyalty, and a genuine concern for my niece and nephew made me agree. David, bless him, rearranged his projects. "We'll go together," he said, his hand warm on mine. "A week. We can manage." We arrived at Anya's cramped, perpetually chaotic apartment. The air smelled of stale formula and unspoken tensions. We fell into a routine, up at dawn making breakfast, getting Alex to kindergarten, soothing Mila, laundry mountains, dishes at bread in the sink. David fixed a leaky faucet, assembled a broken crib, and spent hours on the floor building Lego towers with Alex, who clung to him with hero worship. I handled the endless cycles of feeding, burping, and rocking. Every evening, around 7 p.m., we'd retreat to my father's empty, quiet house, our sanctuary. And every single day, without fail, Anya found a way to needle me about my body. "That top used to look better on you," she'd remark, eyes scanning me as I washed bottles. Or, "You're breathing heavy just from carrying Mila up the stairs." She herself had gained a significant amount of weight since her pregnancy, her own eating habits chaotic. Large bags of chips consumed in one sitting, multiple sugary coffees a day. The hypocrisy was a bitter pill, but I swallowed it. I've battled my weight since adolescence, a private war waged in front of mirrors and on scales. David loves every inch of me, but his love couldn't always silence the critical voice in my head that echoed sentiments like Anya's. I was vulnerable. I'd suffered an early miscarriage just a month before this visit, a grief David and I were cradling privately. In a weak moment, hoping for a shred of kinship, I confided in Anya. She blinked, said, "That's tough, but maybe it's the best. Get healthier first," and changed the subject to her own childcare woes. The breaking point came on the 6th day. Exhaustion had sanded my nerves raw. We were in her living room, a landscape of scattered toys. Alex was finally asleep, Mila dozing in Anya's arms. A mindless home renovation show played on TV. A woman on screen revealed her dramatic weight loss transformation. "Look at that," I murmured, more at myself than anyone. "She looks happy." Anya pounced. "Why don't you ever try that?" "Seriously, Lena, it's just laziness. You just sit around." The air left my lungs. My heart began its familiar, frantic drumming against my ribs, the precursor to a panic attack I knew too well. My father's warning rang in my ears. "Don't engage. She's under stress. Let it go." I clenched my jaw, focusing on a stain on the carpet. My silence fueled her. Why are you being so selfish? You think about having kids with David? You're setting them up for a sick mother. That's not fair to them. Her voice was sharp, clinical, cruel. I don't think you can tell when I'm angry. I managed to say, my voice trembling. I can. You go dead silent, like a sulking child. She shifted Mila. You could have gone for walks this week. Could have done anything. But you just exist. Tears burn behind my eyes. I have been making changes. I whispered. I've been working with a nutritionist online, taking gentle yoga classes. David was my cheerleader, but this journey was mine, and I didn't want to dissect it on Anya's toxic operating table. If we keep talking about this, we'll fight. She let out a short, derisive laugh. This isn't a fight. It's a conversation. Sometimes you need to hear uncomfortable truths. It's not a conversation I want to have with you. Well, sometimes family has to say the hard things. Dad's worried about you too, He asked me to talk to you. That was the lie that broke the dam. My father, wary of our conflicts, would never. The panic, held at bay, surged. I could feel the walls closing in, my vision tunneling. I've been sitting on this sofa this week to be available to you, I said, my voice rising despite myself. I'm here for you. For Alex and Mila. Her face contorted with instant volcanic rage. Oh, here it is. The guilt trip. I knew you'd throw your help in my face. I will never ask you for anything again. Do you hear me? Even if I'm drowning. She was shouting now, the baby in her arms stirring. I've forgiven so much from you because I thought you loved my kids. You took that wrong. I didn't mean it like that. I tried, but she talked over me, a torrent of rehearsed grievances. You've always been like this, a fantasist. Remember when you claimed that guy you dated in college stole your laptop? I bet you just lost it and made up a story. I was stunned into stillness. He had stolen it, along with my passport. The police report was still filed somewhere. The gaslighting was so bold, so malicious, it left me reeling. The room spun. I can't do this. I'm having a panic attack. I choked out, standing up on unsteady legs. She rolled her eyes. And there's a performance. Always the drama. That did it. I fled the room. David was in the small guest room, on a video call with a client. I stumbled in, tears streaming, gasping for air. We need to go. Now. He took one look at me, said, I have to go, to a screen, and ended the call. He wrapped his arms around me, his voice a low, steady hum. Breathe, Lena. Just breathe. In and out. I've got you. The door burst open. Anya stood there, Mila now wailing in her arms, her face a mass of fury. I am her older sister. I have every right to speak to her how I see fit, she screamed at David. David, still holding me, moved to close the door. Not now, Anya. Can't you see she's in distress? She slammed the door open with her foot. And no one shuts a door on me in my own house. Please, just give us a minute, David said, his voice firmer now, a protective edge cutting through his usual calm. You're enabling her, she shrieked, pointing a finger at him. She's always been a liar, a manipulator. You can't coddle her. She needs to be told. Spittle flew from her lips. David, my gentle giant, raised his voice to be heard over her. That is enough. You do not speak about my wife that way. The noise, the fury, the violation, it was too much. A wave of nausea overwhelmed the panic. I pushed past them both, barely making it to the bathroom before collapsing over the toilet, violent, wrenching sobs turning into retching. David was right behind me, holding my hair, rubbing my back as my whole body shook. Anya stood in the hallway, yelling past him. You're just like your father, aren't you? Distant and weak. My children have been through enough trauma. I won't have you creating more drama in their lives. She was weaponizing her pain, aiming for David's own complicated relationship with his estranged father, a topic she knew nothing about. David's head snapped up. Leave my family out of this. This has nothing to do with them. It's an example, she bellowed. Get out. Get out of my house. Consider my children dead to you. The next minutes were a blur of horrific clarity. I slumped against the bathroom wall, spent and hollow. David helped me up, wiped my face with a cool cloth. We're leaving. Now. His jaw was set, a look of definitive finality in his eyes. He guided me downstairs while he went to pack our bags from the room Anya now stood guard in. I heard his low, firm voice. We're going. We are still family. And if there's a real emergency, you can call. But this is toxic, and we're removing ourselves. As he came downstairs with our bags, Anya stormed after him, getting directly in my face, her breath hot. No, we're done. Finished. You hear me? We are not family anymore. The last thread of my control snapped. The weeks of insults, the lifetime of belittlement, the attack on my husband, it coalesced into a white-hot rage. As I walked toward the front door, I turned my head. You need to get off your pathetic high horse. No wonder your husband ran for the hills. I regretted it the second the words left my mouth. To use a man's abandonment of his children as a weapon was a line I never thought I'd cross. The shame was immediate and gutting. We drove back to my father's house in a heavy, devastated silence. An hour later, a text lit up David's phone from Anya. It was cold, transactional. Tell Lena the kids are dead to her. Calculate the petrol and any expenses from the week. I will pay you back. And my advice about her weight came from a place of concern as her elder sister. Her future children's health is her responsibility. David replied, his fingers tapping with uncharacteristic force. Your concern was cruelty. Lena and I are a unit. Anything you have to say to her, you can say in front of me. Do not contact us again. The silence that followed was profound. I was terrified of my father's return. He and Anya had always been closer, united in the unspoken family rule that age bestowed infallibility. I felt utterly alone, convinced I would lose the last remaining thread to my birth family. David held me all night as I cried, whispering, We are your family. We are enough. The outpouring of support from strangers was a lifeline. I read every comment, every piece of advice, weeping with gratitude. To clarify a few things, the cultural context is Eastern European. Family ties are tight, and elder authority is seldom questioned. My mother left when I was young, and my relationship with her is non-existent. Anya, perhaps, carries her ghost. Therapy is now a non-negotiable appointment in my calendar. David and I have agreed. If my father sides with Anya unequivocally, we walk away from that side of the family for good. The hardest part is Alex and Mila. Alex, with his wide, trusting eyes, had spent the week calling David his best friend uncle. The thought of them growing up hearing venomous lies about us, or worse, thinking we abandoned them, is a physical pain in my chest. But I see now that my silence, my tolerance, was not love. It was enabling. By allowing Anya access to me, I was giving her ammunition to eventually use against them, too. She is a master at playing the victim, at twisting narratives until she emerges as the wronged heroine. My revenge will be a life lived well, a happy marriage and peace. David has been my rock. Seeing him, a man who avoids conflict, stand up to Anya's hurricane fury, it changed something in our bond, deepening it into fortified steel. He admitted later his hands were shaking, but he said, Seeing her destroy you is not an option. I am resolved. No contact with Anya. It feels like a necessary amputation. The drive home was a journey through grief. As the miles passed, more of Anya's subtle jabs from the week surfaced in my memory, mocking my careful driving, making a pointed comment when David politely declined a request to borrow his new laptop. Yeah, better not let her use it either. She might break it, always trying to undermine me in front of him. The final, chilling shot as we left. "Don't worry, your turn will come too, just wait," was her ultimate projection. I laughed then, a raw, broken sound. "No, it won't. My husband is nothing like yours. My faith in David and his wonderful family, who have embraced me wholly when my own failed to show up at our wedding, is unshakable. My father returns tomorrow. I have not contacted him. For once, I will not run to explain. Let Anya spin her tale first. I will wait, and based on his reaction, I will know if I have a father or just another casualty of Anya's war. Therapy was a floodgate. I sobbed through most of the session, but it was a beginning. My father has been back for a few days. Our calls have been normal, suspiciously normal. He talks about his trip, the weather. He doesn't mention Anya. Has she not told him? Or has he, for once, refused to be drawn into drama? The silence is unnerving. David and I have decided to see him in person tomorrow. I need to look him in the eye. We will present a united front. David will start the conversation. I am preparing for every possible reaction. Dismissal, blame-shifting, anger, with a cold detachment of a man tired of his daughter's battles. I am braced for the worst, complete estrangement. The thought of having no blood family left is a terrifying void, but the thought of continuing this cycle of abuse is worse. We sat in my father's tidy, sunlit kitchen. The air was thick with unspoken history. David, true to his word, began. "Ivan, we need to talk about what happened at Anya's last week. I assume she's spoken to you." My father, a man of few words and weary eyes, sipped his tea. "She called me while I was away, drunk and crying. I told her I was on holiday and didn't want to hear it. We haven't discussed it since." He looked at me. "She did call yesterday, though, when she knew you were coming. Asked if we'd talked." I took a deep breath and told him everything, from the daily weight comments, the lie about a concern, the triggered panic attack, the vile accusation of me being a liar, her screaming at David and bringing up his father, my horrific final retort. I didn't soften it. I laid the ugliness bare. He listened, his expression growing graver with each sentence. When I mentioned her saying David would leave me, he closed his eyes and pinched the bridge of his nose. "Sisters," he sighed, a world of disappointment in the word. How do sisters say such things to each other? When I finished, David spoke, his voice thick with emotion. "Ivan, this wasn't a disagreement. This was targeted cruelty. I've never seen anything like it. My job is to protect Lena, and in that moment, from her own sister, I had to—" My father nodded slowly. "She is wrong, completely wrong." The words were simple, but their impact was seismic. There is a way to talk to people. She chose the way of her mother. He looked at me, a profound sadness in his gaze. She is not. Well, in her head, the betrayal, the kids, it has broken something. But that is no excuse. She starts on me, too, every few days, some new crisis, some new blame. I have learned to say nothing. The one who stays silent has no regrets to replay. My only thought is for those children. They are what matter. I don't know how many years I have, but I want them to know they are loved. She shouts at Alex, "It's not right. It's your mother all over again." "But, Dad," I lean forward, "you lived through that with Mom. Why are you letting yourself live through it again with her?" He gave a small, resigned shrug. "I am in my own house. I come home to peace. I don't think about your mother anymore. With Anya, I am a doorway for the children. That is all. He then looked at David. You were defending your wife. A man should. You are a good man. I do not believe you could disrespect anyone. It is not in your nature. He turned back to me. I love you both. If you decide you cannot have a relationship with Anya, I respect that. I will not force it. I have tried for years to be the bridge between you two. I am tired. You are adults. You make your own choices. David was firm. We will not be having a relationship with her. It's beyond repair. Then that is your decision, my father said, his voice accepting. I will talk to her about her behavior, about the shouting at the boy, but I will not mediate. No more. The relief that washed over me was so potent it felt like a new kind of oxygen. He saw. He heard. He didn't condone her. He didn't condemn me. He held space for his own boundaries with her, and for mine. We spent the rest of the afternoon there. We made fresh tea. We watched a silly game show on TV, guessing answers and laughing. As we left, he pressed an envelope into David's hand, a traditional gesture of care. For your journey home, he said. It wasn't about money. It was about love. Driving home, the coastal air smelling of salt and freedom, I held David's hand. The weight was gone. I have my family, my husband, my kind in-laws, and now a father who chooses peace over dogma and love over blind loyalty. The relationship with him is no longer conditional on my enduring Anya's poison. It stands on its own, the backbone I'd always needed, forged in that terrible week and tempered by David's love and my own resolve, finally feels solid. The path forward is mine to walk in peace.